Hi everyone, welcome back to another week of EP Kids Digital. I still miss you guys a lot, and I know we're getting closer to being able to be together, so I'm looking forward to that day. For the last few weeks, we have been in a series called Blastoff, and during that series, we have been training for an out-of-this-world lifetime adventure, space travel. But we've also been training for the biggest adventure anyone can have, and that is life with Jesus. So let's go ahead and get started with our first training mission. Chip, take it away.
Greetings, Space Cadets. I have a question. What do you call a peanut in a spacesuit? Answer in 3, 2, 1, an astronaut. Haha. Haha. Seriously though, eating peanuts and other food in zero gravity can be tricky. As your food floats around you, it is essential that you have complete control over your mouth and tongue. You must be prepared in order to receive the necessary nutrition to survive.
Okay guys, we have our next training mission. I'm actually gonna head outside for this one because it is a bit messy. It involves poles and donuts and eating them without hands, and I am prepared to get messy. Okay, so our mission today has to do with eating food in space. So I have got to try to eat this donut without touching it with my hands. We'll see how messy I end up. Here we go. You could try it at home if you happen to have these things. Okay, that is messy. I have frosting in my nose, but let's go see what Chip has to say next.
Excellent job, Space Cadets. During space travel, it is important to keep control over your mouth and tongue. Not only for the purpose of eating, but also for the purpose of speaking. Your next training mission is to discover why it is important to control your words. You will find instructions in the Ultimate Training Manual, the Bible. Look up James chapter 3 verses 3 through 5, then listen to the story of David and Abigail from 1 Samuel chapter 25 to complete the mission.
All right, we have our second training mission. You're going to need your Bible for this one, so go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Grab your Bible. We are going to be looking up James chapter 3 verses 3 to 5. James is way at the back of your Bible. See how much of the Bible's gone? All right, chapter 3, verses 3 through 5. We put a small piece of metal in the mouth of a horse to make it obey us. We can control the whole animal with it. And how about ships? They are very big, but they are driven along by strong winds, but they are steered by a very small rudder. It makes them go where the captain wants to go. In the same way, the tongue is a small part of a person's body, but it talks big. Think about how a small spark can set a great big forest on fire. Those are interesting verses. So while you think about what those verses might mean, let's take a look at the story of David and Nabal, because I think it will help us understand it better. So back when David was not yet king, he was running from King Saul, and he was living kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And David had been helping protect some other people's animals and their workers. And David sent some messengers to a man named Nabal and said, hey, you know what? We're hungry and we've been helping you out. So could you please send us some food and some clothes? And you know what Nabal's response was? It was, well, why would I send you food and clothes? I'm not giving food and clothes to people who come from I don't know where. Forget it. Well, David's messengers come on back and they relay Nabal's horrible, angry words to David, and David becomes furious. David is so angry with Nabal's words that David takes off for battle. He gathers all his men and they are ready to go to war with Nabal and to just wipe him out. Well, Nabal has a wife named Abigail, and Abigail is beautiful and Abigail is wise, and she hears what Nabal has said, and she hears that David is on his way, and she sets the servants out to gather up everything that David might need for food and clothing, and she puts it on animals, and she heads out to meet David and this huge army. So not only is she beautiful and wise, I think she's kind of brave, because David was mad, and she heads out with all of this stuff. And when she meets up with David's whole army, she says, David, I'm so sorry for what my husband said and for the things that he did. Please forgive us, and please accept this food and these clothes. And when David hears Abigail's words, all of a sudden, all the anger drains out of him. And David says, oh my goodness, I was about to commit a terrible sin. Thank you for stopping me. Your kind words and your kind actions have stopped me from doing this. You guys, it's amazing that just those couple of kind words from Abigail prevented David from committing a terrible sin. Now, what do you guys think would have happened if Abigail hadn't used kind words in that situation? And what do you think God might be teaching you from those verses in James and from this? Think about it for just a minute, maybe even pause the video and then come back and let's finish up this lesson.
Congratulations! You have successfully completed your training mission. Your tongue is small, but it has the power to form words that can cause big trouble. God wants us to tame our tongue and choose our words carefully, just like Abigail did. This week, practice controlling your mouth by using kind words and eating donuts.
In today's story, Nabal was so rude, and his words caused all kinds of damage. They caused David to become really angry. They caused him to almost commit a sin, and they almost got Nabal wiped out if his wife had not stepped in. And you know what? It's really important that we think about our words. Check out that verse in James 3, verse 3 again. Verse 5. In the same way, the tongue is a small part of the person's body, but it talks big. Think about how a small spark can set a big forest on fire. That's saying, you know what? Our tongues are really, really tiny, but the words that we make with our tongues matter. They matter so, so much. When we use our tongues to say terrible things to other people or mean things, they destroy and they do all kinds of damage. And you know what? Once that damage is done, there's no putting those words back into your mouth. I want to show you what I mean. So let's head outside for just a minute. Okay, so we're outside to do this experiment because it's a little bit messy, but let's go ahead and see what happens. It's kind of cool. Okay, so do you guys think that I can get all of this foam? It's still coming out, but can I get all of it to go back in? No way, of course not. And that is what it's like with your words. When your words come out of your mouth, even after you apologize for mean words, you cannot take them back. So this week, I really want you to think about what God has said to us, that we need to be careful about the words that come out of our mouth and work on letting God have kind words come out of your mouth instead of really mean, ugly words. So whenever you have a chance this week, close your mouth and think before you talk. Bye.